Justin Paulhamus here with 4G Real Estate.
Sorry.
Why are you laughing?
It was just so aggressive. Just a very aggressive start.
Hey, really?
I liked it though.
Joined once again with Ryan.larson of Guarantee Rate, one of my favorite lenders here to talk.
Favorite lender?
Listen, I work with other lenders as well,
know,
but you're my favorite.
Thank you. That's all right. Not
one of my favorites.
The favorite.
Anyway.
Cut. Take two.
All right. Today I want to talk about home buyers. A lot of first-time questions they have. A lot of things that you and I take for granted.
Yep.
That maybe we can kind of clarify for all of our viewers out there.
Yep.
So first question. How much of an individual's income should be devoted to housing?
I think a little bit of a loaded question. I would say 30% would be a general guideline for what you want your housing to be, but it really depends on what other debt you have. Do you have a car loan? Do you have a lot of student loans? Do you like to travel a lot? Do you the house poor, comes into a lot. So I think it really depends on everyone's situation. You have some clients that are, progressing down and going to be making more money in the next couple of years or have a bonus due or
30%. Okay.
30%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. So my next question is, because you talked about house poor, is that lenders are notorious for approving individuals for more than they actually want to spend.
Okay.
John and Jane get approved for $700,000, but their rent payment per month is $3,000.
Yep.
How would you counsel someone whose rent is substantially less than what their mortgage would be, where their pre-approval comes in?
Yeah, I think like that initial conversation with the client on what they want to spend, sometimes they know what their maximum monthly payment they want to have, and sometimes they don't know what that is yet, but they know what neighborhood they want to live at. So it kind of comes, you either go at it as a total purchase price and what you need to put as a down payment to get to that mortgage payment, or what does that mortgage payment correspond to a purchase price. So it kind of goes back and forth between the two. I don't remember where we were going after that. What was the other question?
There wasn't a question after that?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to noodle over what you just said because that was quite the mouthful.
Yeah, let's try that again. Sometimes in an initial conversation with the client, sometimes they know I want to spend $3,000 per month, but they don't know how much of a house that buys them as far as a purchase price. Other people are like, hey, I really want to be in this neighborhood. It's $700,000. I don't know what that mortgage payment's going to be. What do I have to do to get in that house? Okay. On our side in mortgage lending, you're always like counseling and seeing what they want to spend and what they're comfortable with. But a lot of times people are just like, how much can I get it pre-approved for? Because it's always easier to drop it, the purchase price. Then you can't always raise the purchase price, but you can always drop the purchase price. You can always lower the monthly payment. So it's kind of a give and take, but we like to always come down from the top. So pre-qualifying at a high amount is just, hey, here's your max budget, and you can only come down from here.
Got it. So I'm going to throw another little curveball here and just say sometimes people in some markets, $700,000 is not going to get them the size house that they want. So they're going to have to adjust their parameters and say, okay, maybe rather than a single family house, a condo is more in the realm of possibility. So if a person is approved for $700,000, just keeping it with the same, what does a $200 condo fee payment impact? What's the impact of a $200 condo fee on a purchase of $700,000?
Yeah, I mean,
does that make sense? How does that affect their buyability? If they are approved for $700,000, what's the impact?
So if you're buying a single family home with no condo fees, because you're not part of an association, you're going to be able to afford a little bit more of a house or a little bit more expensive of a house because you don't have that condo fee. So if you're running into a $500 condo fee, you're going to have to back down that purchase price to have that same mortgage payment because we do include that condo fee in the total. A $500 condo fee off the top of my head would probably be, I don't know, $100,000, $75,000, depending on what the interest rates are on it. So you definitely have to factor in that condo fee into your total mortgage payment or total monthly payment.
So correct me if I'm wrong, because I kind of use this little factoid when I've been with clients, that for every $100 of condo fees, it impacts your buyability by about $25,000.
Yeah, that's about right.
You think that's fair?
Yeah. What did I say? 500 for 100,000? Yeah, right in that ballpark.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That
was right off the top too. I didn't even plan that.
Being able to just put it down in layman's terms makes it easier for people.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Okay.
I get a lot of first-time homebuyer questions.
Yep.
Earnest money deposit.
Yeah.
What the heck?
So earnest money deposits is kind of a known requirement to include with an offer. So, you've got the contract, disclosures, pre-approval letter, earnest money deposit. For a contract to be considered legal, whatever, binding, you need to have some form of consideration. Consideration is typically synonymous with money. In most cases, $1 is sufficient. $1 doesn't float in this market. It's anywhere between 1% to 5%. Some agents require 3% EMD. Others, will allow a 1% EMD. The one thing that I think home buyers get really screwed up with is that the earnest money deposit goes against your entire obligation. It's not something above and beyond. And if you have any sort of contingencies, your EMD or your earnest money is always protected should you actually cancel a contract as a result of one of those contingencies not being fulfilled.
Right.
Does that answer it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Any other questions?
What kind of fees do you think a first-time home buyer is going to have, or just a home buyer in general? They're in the market, they made an offer. When do I have to have money available by? And you can maybe take the first part and I'll take the second part of that as that kind of goes through the mortgage at the end?
Yeah, so if they get a home inspection, a home inspection is going to cost them a couple $100. If it's a large home, it could be $1,000. Radon, which is a big thing in this area in both parts of DC and suburban areas of Virginia and Maryland. It's a gas that's a second leading cause of lung cancer. That's about a $300 test. Depending on where you are, if you're suburban, you want a septic test. Those are a couple $100, so it could actually be more than that, depending on how sophisticated the septic system is. Could be $600. A termite inspection, if you want a termite inspection, if you're VA, the seller has to pay that, but a termite inspection is probably the least expensive at like $40. And then they start having like lender costs of like appraisals and things of that nature,
Yes.
which you can kind of...
Yeah. So
but really quickly, those things that I just mentioned are all paid outside of closing. So the term is POC, paid outside of closing, and those are all fees that the individuals will have to pay in advance. So, you should budget for about, I would say $1,500 for all of those.
And most of they're optional besides the termite with VA, but they're optional on what you feel comfortable with when you're buying that
That's
house
correct.
condo.
Yep.
Yeah. So your appraisal fee up front.
Yeah.
And then you really don't have any fees until you go to closing. So the remainder of the down payment, your closing costs, recording fees, title fees, everything else is going to be paid at the closing table. So it's the big lump sum check at closing that you need.
So now you throw the closing table on the table, and a lot of new people that are in the home buying process aren't going to know what the hell.
Going to signing. So you're signing the final documents. The house is yours. You're getting the keys. You're sitting next to Justin. He's smiling at you like this. And then you own the house.
I appreciate it. You're with us weekly. You'll be with us again next week.
You heard it here first. You can't fire me. You said it.
You haven't even been hired. For more information on 4J Real Estate or Ryan Larson, you can find us at 4J Real Estate on all the socials and at Ryan Larson Lens. Thank you for joining us for this week, and be sure to come back and watch future videos of Justin and Ryan's weekly mortgage update 2.0, no longer on Zoom. All right, let me redo that.